Oh man, that song is so sick. It never gets old. Fellas. Welcome back, everybody. All right, so we've got our first mock draft of the season. Man, I tell you what, Slayton and Mick, we're so excited for this, for us to get this going, just to get it knocked out of the way, get the kind of that temperature gauge of how everybody's feeling, what the auto draft is looking like. So we did it. This was our concept here. Okay, we didn't do any kickers, didn't do any defenses. Okay, we weren't gonna eat our vegetables. We wanted to eat all meat and potatoes, baby. We're not messing around. So what we did is we each just took one pick. Okay, we went from an early pick, so from the third spot, we went from a middle pick, the sixth spot, and we went from a late pick, the 11th spot. So that way you can kind of tell what you're looking at on each side of your draft, wherever you're drafting at. You can kind of get a gauge from it. Now this is pre-training camp, so we don't know who the winners of any of these training camp battles are. So this is just how it is as of today. July, we did this yesterday, July 9th. We did a slow draft, had plenty of time because we're all just three regular dudes out here. We're out here just still living life, working, raising kids, all that fun stuff. So, all right, so we're gonna go ahead and get into it. We had Slayton up with the first pick in this one. Okay, who were you going for here? Were you trying to get this guy or
No,
no?
ideally, I wanted Barkley. I think he's going to run it back and just be phenomenal behind that awesome run offense there. But Jameer Gibbs is a close second for me. I really like Jameer Gibbs. He's been one of those guys that I am super, super into in all of my leagues. He's a PPR machine. He can do it with another back on the field. So he's one that he's not getting all the touches, which makes me feel great, and he's great on a per-touch basis. So that really made me happy to get him there. But with my team, you'll see, I tend to want to go after hammers in a one QB league. I want to go after hammers because if you don't, you're going to get caught in kind of a Midland type of team, and you're going to be trying to just get that fourth spot or that, sixth spot to get in the playoffs. So I definitely went and got my hammer in the running back room there with Jameer Gibbs.
Yeah, I like that because we saw even with David Montgomery, it doesn't matter. I mean, this backfield's kind of bulletproof, really. Like I think the last time we saw a backfield like this was Tevin Coleman and Devonta Freeman, and then before that was Alvin Kamara, Mark Ingram. I mean, this is a really good backfield. So I mean, honestly, you probably could start both these guys every week and be okay with it, just like you used to back in the day. But not a bad pick, not a bad pick. I mean, going right after you got Bijan Robinson,
Yeah.
and then Justin Jefferson. I mean, two great picks. I mean, these are chalk free throw layups, if you will, whatever term that you like to use. So obviously, I wanted to go Bijan. That way, you knock down and get that pillar running back early. But I didn't really expect him to fall to six. I'm just gonna be real with you here. I went ahead and went CD Lamb because I think that the Cowboys offense is going to be pretty decent. They with the addition of George Pickens, I think Jake Ferguson, just think the whole offense is going to be good because they have weapons everywhere. And CD Lamb is the dominant alpha. Like just because they brought George Pickens in, that's not going to really hurt CD Lamb, in my opinion. I think that tide is going to raise all ships. With Dak being healthy, you've got a lot of good pass catchers in this offense, and I think that's going to spark them to go ahead and pass the ball more than what they try to do in the past. So I'm pretty excited about this pick, CD Lamb. But I don't know. We got Mick up next, and we had a run of really good wide receivers here. But what
Yeah,
did you think?
we did. When I came up, basically all the big time wide receivers were off the board except for Nico Collins. So I had a choice between Nico Collins and Derrick Henry. And I'm kind of buying into the old way of redraft where I'm kind of liking to start with the RBs because I think I mean, you could play it any way, honestly. It all depends on what player is going to smash, like Slayton said, because there's RBs late, there's wide receivers late. So basically, whoever I'm picking now in redraft, because I think there's so many talented players in the NFL, I'm just going to pick the best player available that I think is going to have the smash fantasy season, and that was either Nico Collins or Derrick Henry. You saw Nico went after, but I took Henry because, I mean, Henry absolutely smashed last year, and it was the first year of that offense, and you aren't going to tell me that they're going to be like a more cohesive unit this year. And
right.
I mean, the dude can put up maybe 20 touchdowns this year. I know he doesn't catch passes, but there are outlier seasons where someone puts up 20 touchdowns and is the RB1. And I think Derrick Henry in that offense is like foolproof. So I loved getting Derrick Henry there because even with his smash season, you can see that he's still going later compared to the other running backs that are being pushed up on Barkley, Bijan, Gibbs. They're all in the top 5 picks. Mm-hmm. And Henry, what he did last year, he's still going in the late first round, early second round of redraft. So I think I just took Henry. I know the pass catching upside isn't there. It was between him or Nico. Like, what would you guys have done if you were in my position? Do you like Henry or Nico for your first pick?
100% Henry for me.
Mm-hmm. Well, so this was a PPR format, so that's the only thing that I'm not crazy about Derrick Henry on, because you do have a couple other players after that. But Derrick Henry just showed to be so dominant without the pass catching, the necessity there. It didn't matter, right? It just, you knew Derrick Henry was going to get you a boatload of points every week. It's like the man's rejuvenated. You know, me and Andrew were talking about on this AFC South show on the Curtis Podcast Network that how Derrick Henry, I feel like Derrick Henry is running better with Baltimore than he did with Tennessee. And I mean, I know some people may not like that, but dude, I do think that he looks like a different running back, he looks younger. You know, I get it. He had some great seasons with Tennessee, okay, but he's like a whole new man in Baltimore, man. And I don't think he can go wrong here. He got the contract. He's not going anywhere for another couple of years. This is a running football team. Baltimore's always under Harbaugh. Baltimore has always been a running team, especially with Lamar Jackson. Yeah, so, dude, why not? Why not buy in Derrick Henry?
That's a lot of why I think Henry is exploding in Baltimore is that, you know, he's never had a 2-man backfield to where they had to respect the second man in the backfield.
Mm-hmm.
It's always been him, but now they have to respect Lamar. So now split up the touches between him, and that's why he gets so many touches, is because they don't want to keep running Lamar every play like he has been.
And no, that's not smart for your franchise quarterback, your previous MVP quarterback at that.
You know, and so as much as like the PPR format's a big thing, I think Mick really brought it back with this next pick. You know, that
exactly.
Yeah, didn't get the PPR stud in the first round, but I mean, you could flip flop either of those two guys that he picked back to back there, and like I wouldn't question them. Like if you were H-Han in the first round instead of in the second round instead of Derrick Henry, I wouldn't have questioned you.
Yeah. So
tell us why you went second here.
So my next pick, Nico was off the board. So then Bowers went, and then I'm not too high on Bowers being at the second turn because there's no like tight end premium. So I get he's going to put up a Kelsey season. I get it, but H-Han has the season to maybe be the RB1. So I kind of went my hammer running back in Henry, who's my non-PPR guy, my 20 touchdown guy. And then I came back with H-Han. So you can't tell me that I probably don't have the best 2 RBs. Maybe the other team that has Bijan and Jonathan Taylor is pretty close. I think that's comparable. But I went H-Han too because H-Han is probably going to get 80 to 100 catches now with Jonnu being gone. So I love that. So my backfield to start is Derrick Henry and then H-Han. And then you'll see what I did in my next 3 picks. So
yeah, with your H-Han pick, man, like that's very smart. Like, so you're playing chess here. With Jonnu not being there, there's got to be somebody that Mushmouth there can dump off to and not take a million sacks and end up in the hospital again. Like, so H-Han's going to be the benefactor of that. So I love that pick. I think that's very smart. So going down here, I wasn't looking at any of these people. As soon as I saw this guy, I hurried up and I got Drake London. I went ahead and got CeeDee Lamb and don't get me wrong, like, look, I'm a Colts fan. Everybody knows that who watches Unstable. Jonathan Taylor was available, and I like Jonathan Taylor. But the thing is with this I was looking more for let's get me some wide receivers. There's a lot of running backs in this year in this class, so I wasn't really rushing for running back. No pun intended there. Maybe a little bit. Okay. So I went Drake London here. Okay. I do think that Michael Penix Jr. in that offense is going to take a step up. I know that's not saying much. They didn't really do much last year, but I still think Drake London has the potential to be a wide receiver one, even with a young Michael Penix. But I say that with tongue in cheek because Michael Penix is an older second year quarterback. So I don't know. I went Drake London because I think the Falcons offense is actually going to be pretty good this year. I don't know, thoughts?
I mean, the reason why I picked Jahmyr Gibbs over Bijan is like I question how that offense is going to operate. And I think the same way with Drake London. Like I like Drake London, don't get me wrong, but he's typically one of those guys. If he falls to me in the third round, I'm smashing. But a lot of the times, or like real late in the second round, I'll smash the pick there. But he's one of those guys. Whenever there's other guys on the board that I think are a little bit more of somebody that I want to bet on later in the season, like a T. Higgins or a Ladd McConkey, I think I would rather go that route. But to each his own on those, or to get that stud QB,
Yeah.
I liked it, Justin. I liked it. I think if you went JT, I wouldn't have hated that either, but I like the start of CD and Drake London. I'm actually higher on London than a lot of guys this year too. I think London can be a top 5 wide receiver with what he did with Penix to end the year. So I like that start with CD.
Well, and I don't think Lamb and Taylor would have been a bad start. I mean, have a solid wide receiver, solid running back. I don't think that would have been a bad start. But I went in, I just in my head knowing I had a lot of running backs ahead of me. So I was going to go wide receiver heavy early. But there was clearly a run. As you could see the board here, there was clearly a run on running backs heavy early. But all right, so
tagging in a sense. So like that's what I like about your start off is that everybody went either running back heavy or went and got that quarterback. You doubled up on that wide receiver position where most didn't. And
so there's a strategy which I'm not going to spoil too much because we are going to have a draft strategy episode in the future. But there's a strategy that I like to, not really strategy. It's kind of like some things that I like to just go by. I don't really know what you want to call it per se, but if everybody's going to yin, I'm going to yang. If everybody's going to zig, I'm going to zag. So if you're going to run on running backs, okay, I'm going to pick off some good wide receivers. But I'm just. We'll get that into a future episode of a draft strategy. But Slayton, you had a pretty solid pick here. Tell us why you went here.
So Trey McBride, I thought that he was more than likely. So the way that I saw it is there was a tier of QBs that whenever I'm in a single QB league, I always try to target these top 5 QBs. Because after that, then there's like a huge drop for me. And there was at least 3 or 4 of those guys that I knew were going to survive around the turn. At least one of my guys would be there. But as far as a tight end, kind of a follow-up with what I was saying in my first one is like I like to draft hammers. And without a doubt, Trey McBride is a hammer in every sense of the manner in a tight end position. And he scores you wide receiver numbers as a tight end. And at that point, I'd seen that, not all the wide receivers have gone off the board yet, like the ones that, are still number ones on their team. So I felt comfortable reaching a little bit to get that tight end, but to shore up that I'm not going to have to pick another tight end until round 12, round 13, round 14 as a flex player or a bye week,
And if you wanted to wait, I mean, yes, you wouldn't have got a Trey McBride. I get that, the talent of a Trey McBride. But if you wanted to wait, we've got a lot of good tight ends, man, honestly. Even like we've got 2 rookie tight ends that I'm kind of big on, especially in redraft, Tyler Warren and Mason Taylor. But dude, I don't blame you at all here. I mean, you could have gone either one, but it looks like there's a guy that you've been big on that you kind of got the sniper got sniped.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to change my name to Snipes on Slayton. I wanted JD so bad, and I wanted Lamar Jackson real bad there. And they took both of them. I was hoping one of those guys were going to fall.
So close, man. So close. I think Lamar Jackson right before your pick.
Yeah, Jameer. And then I would start off Jameer, McBride, and then end up with like a Jaden Daniels or a Lamar Jackson. Like, it's really hard to beat a team in a 1 QB league that has an elite quarterback, elite tight end, elite running back.
Mm-hmm.
Like, really hard to pass that.
Yeah.
So a lot of the previous leagues that I've been in, like, I've seen teams that would have like a Josh Allen and a Derrick Henry, and you just get steamrolled by that team. They don't have anything else on their team, but they're putting up, 60 points, 70 points between these two players each week. It's insane.
Yeah.
Like,
your pick here though kind of forced my hand, and I'm not gonna lie, I panicked a little bit here. Like, I love Joe Burrow. I was hoping that I could have got Joe Burrow in the 4th or 5th round, but that's not how it went. You grabbed him before I could. That's just how it goes sometimes.
Don't get me. I'm so happy to have Joe Burrow because he's one of those guys that at the end of the season, he's fighting, and with the division. And with the defense that they have right now, he's going to have to fight every week, every game. Late in the season, they're going to be in these big show-out duels like they've been here, and he's going to cash out in big points. Granted, he's
got weapons. He's got 2 of my favorite wide receivers. I mean, Mick will tell you, T. Higgins was my guy, my steal. I was scouting this kid. I loved him coming out as a rookie. I went and got my guy on that one. That kind of forced me to go ahead and get Patrick Mahomes. So I had to go ahead and get Patrick Mahomes. I went and was like, okay, let me just go ahead and short my quarterback. I could have waited for somebody later, like a Jared Goff or something like that I like just as much. I think Jared Goff is resurrected. But I went and took Patrick Mahomes. I don't think there's much to say about him. He's got a lot of weapons. I think Patrick Mahomes is going to come back with a vengeance this year. So if you're a Patrick Mahomes owner in Dynasty, don't trade him just yet. I mean, I think he's going to come out and everybody's like, oh, remember me, So, but moving on. So, Mick, your guy here is somebody that I think a lot of people are excited about with a new quarterback in town.
Yeah, so at this point, I kind of agree with you guys, but you got to play the board as it lays. So all the elite quarterbacks are gone. So I kind of would have been in the same spot because, like, if you look at the board, there's a couple guys like I like Josh Jacobs and stuff. I'd probably like to take him as like my flex in a redraft if he's still on the board and stuff ahead of maybe the other quarterbacks because I think there's a lot of good quarterbacks. You'll see who I got as my QB1 who put up I want to say QB 6 or 7 last year, and I got him way down in the 7th round, but following up with my 3rd pick, I had to start solidifying my RB or my wide receiver room. So I thought Garrett Wilson was the next best guy on the board. Everyone's down on him, but he's put up back-to-back 1,100 yards. I don't know how you're down on somebody who's put up 1,100 yards with
trust the numbers
quarterback now. So then that also kind of dovetailed into my next pick because then 2 running backs went. So I'm kind of glad on how the board fell. I really like how this. I would have actually preferred this redraft team in one of my high big money leagues this year because then I came around with Rashee Rice. So I went Garrett Wilson and Rashee Rice for my first 2 wide receivers. That's a pretty dang good.
The stock on Rashee Rice is going crazy right now.
Did you see
in the industry? It's ridiculous. It's so high.
Did you guys see the video today? Did you guys see the video of him running routes? Oh my gosh. So if you have time, I'm sure a couple guys that are on Twitter saw that. There's a nasty video of him running like his some crossers, just back-to-back crossers, and he looks so freaking electric. You guys need to see this video. It's insane. If you see this video, his ADP is going to jump to the 3rd round after this video. He looks 100%. He looks nasty. So I get Rashee Rice in the 4th round. So I like to start my team already. I've got 2 hammer RBs and 2 solid wide receivers. So then that goes back to JR.
Yeah, and then of course we see some pretty other good receivers going here. We got Marvin Harrison Jr., Mike Evans, Devontae Adams, Jalen Hurts. And then, so I finally go and take my running back here, Alvin Kamara. I think the Saints offense isn't going to be great. But Alvin Kamara is the elder statesman there. He's established. He's the guy they know, okay, we're kind of going to need to build our team around this guy. He's proven he can do it, especially in the pass catching. This is a PPR format. So Alvin Kamara is going to get a lot of passes, going to get a lot of dump downs. I mean, you may even see him running in the slot. So I went Alvin Kamara. This wasn't a question for me based on what we had because it's PPR format. So going, we got a couple more running backs after that, Hampton, Mixon, and then we get Slayton's next pick.
Yeah, following the trend in the third round, I got sniped again on running back. I was trying to get either Alvin Kamara or Omarion Hampton to fall to me there. But, I'm not really too upset with my pick with Cortland Sutton. I think he's going to evolve a little bit more with Bo Nix this year, so I'm really excited about him, and he's a wide receiver one late in the fourth round. So I can't really be too upset with what I got there. I really didn't like the two running backs after what I picked there. So I had to go with my first wide receiver off the board there.
Okay. All right. I like it. All right. Follow it up. Tell us what you got next.
So then next I went with Concrete Connor, man. So he has just been a staple in a lot of my teams in the past. I'm not huge on Trey Benson. He just hasn't really impressed me coming out and hasn't really impressed me on the field. And Connor's really not showed any signs of stopping other than injury whenever that does come. But, I think he's a guy that I'm really excited about for next year. I think that offense is going to run a lot smoother than it did last year. And with him, he just signed a 2-year deal. So I don't think they're going to just throw him to the wayside this year. They would at least wait until next year or at the very end of this year. So I'm excited to get another hammer running back there for me, and one that's not going to be splitting a whole bunch of time, I don't believe.
Yeah. So who do you we had a comment come through, and he asked if Jaden Higgins is going to be the next, was it Nico Collins 2.0?
No, Drake London. Drake London.
All right. I'll start by answering that real quick. I think Jaden Higgins is going to be a very good number 2 wide receiver in this league, paired with Nico Collins. I'm really buying into getting Jaden Higgins in the early second round of rookie drafts this year. I think he's a major sleeper, and I think he's going to complement Nico well, and I think he's going to be – I would put Jaden Higgins more in the realm of maybe a 80 to 80% T. Higgins, more so than a Drake London. What do you guys think?
I think he's definitely going to be a 2 wide receiver. I don't think he'll ever surpass Nico Collins, if I'm being honest with you. I just don't think that's in his range of outcomes to be an X wide receiver. But, who knows? I might be wrong. This is kind of the beauty of the game here. But my thing is Nico's a clear alpha there. So he's going to have to do a lot to show that he can be that guy and to, score a lot of points. Granted, there's a lot of there, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think Jaden Higgins is only a reaction to the Tank Dell situation. I think Tank Dell is still the guy here. Jaden Higgins is going to be a part of it just because of the draft capital, but Tank Dell's number 2 in this offense, and I'm going to die on that hill. I think Tank Dell and C.J. Stroud they have a bromance. It runs deep right now. So I like Jaden Higgins. Don't get me wrong. I like Jaden. I've been watching this film, and Mick, I was telling you, I think I text you these exact words, been watching Jaden Higgins film, and I think I'm a fan or something like that.
Yeah, you said you're going to take him. You're considering him at the 201.
Yeah, I am. I like Jaden Higgins as far as that goes. But I still think this is Tank Dell's spot. But they could adjust. I believe in D'Amico Ryans. I think they're going to adjust, and Jaden Higgins is going to be a part of this team for many years.
I think Jaden Higgins is going to be the number 2 in that offense going forward. I think – no, sorry, Justin, but
it's fine.
I think Tank Dell is going to be kind of close to dead. I don't know. I think Jaden Higgins is going to be the other guy, that wide receiver 2 next to Nico in that offense. With
And we saw it with John Mechie. I mean, how an injury, whether you have control over it or not. Look, none of these guys asked to be injured. It's not like they went out and were riding dirt bikes in the offseason or nothing like that. Like these things happen. But we understand that people have lost their spot due to injury. You miss time. Hey, Jaden Higgins is available, and that's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes. So it's no big deal. I'm not worried about it. Like I said, I like Jaden Higgins. I would gladly take him 201, and I'd steal him at 205. But so we where were we at? Okay, so we went from James Conner. So I went ahead and went in and took DK Metcalf just because I'm looking at what other wide receivers I have in front of me and who is going to be the most dominant. So DK Metcalf is now with the Steelers. Okay, it did look great. Okay, it was going to be DK Metcalf. It was going to be George Pickens. It's going to be Aaron Rodgers. All this stuff, and then it just became DK Metcalf. I think this worked out for DK Metcalf. Okay, I think Aaron Rodgers is going to force the ball to DK Metcalf more and more. I mean, yes, look, they got Jonnu Smith in a trade from Miami. Yes, they still have Pat Freiermuth, but DK Metcalf is the dominant wide receiver 1 on this team. So this was easy for me. I went DK Metcalf. I didn't think about it. So that was my reasoning behind it. It's just because he is gonna be the guy. There's nobody else competing for him.
I like it. I like it. That's your next. That's the only wide receiver 1 left on the board beside the guy that I took. So my next pick, I come back and take Chris Olave. So now I get probably the last wide receiver 1 left on the board in Chris Olave, who's been down just from concussion concerns. So I think that's a steal getting Olave in the late 5th. I get Chris Olave. So now I have 3 wide receiver 1s and 2 big time running backs. So Chris Olave now enters my flex. If we're going start 2 running back, start 2 wide receiver, I have Chris Olave as a flex. And last year, people are drafting Chris Olave as their wide receiver 1.
Oh yeah. Chris Olave we saw him at Ohio State where he took these short passes and just turned them into long touchdowns. He has that game-breaking ability. So I don't think that Kellen Moore is blind to that. I think that he is going to be able to use his short game, and he's going to be able to use Chris Olave the way he should. Kellen Moore has a mind of the modern NFL. So I have no doubts in that. I think you got a great deal in Chris Olave right there.
Yeah, and then I come up and follow it up with my favorite rookie right now in the 25 season. So now I get freaking Travion Henderson. Are you kidding me? My team is loaded right now. I can sustain injuries. I can fill these guys in bye weeks. I think Travion is going to enter my RB3 conversation later on in the year when he picks it up and rookies get going. So he can enter my flex position. If Achane goes down, I backfill him to my RB2. So I'm liking the start of my team.
Oh, yeah, looking pretty good. I love the Travion Henderson pick. So I come around. I was looking at taking Quinshon Judkins here and getting my second running back. That didn't work out. I got sniped on that. No big deal. They zig, we zag, we adjust. So I went Jalen Waddle here. Again, we're talking about Jonnu Smith not being on the Dolphins, and this is why. So you used it with your Devon Achane. I'm using it for Jalen Waddle, and I think it's going to work out. More targets to go around for these players. We don't know. There's so much drama with Tyreek Hill. I don't think they're enjoying that in Miami. I think it's going to be more design plays for Jalen Waddle. We've seen Jalen Waddle, what he can do. He can get open. He can move. He's fast. The dude's insanely fast. I mean, of course, he's not Cheetah. I get it. But I think Jalen Waddle's going to be the benefactor of no Jonnu Smith. All they have to do is just get him the dang ball. So that's why I went Jalen Waddle here.
Slayton.
Mick, here you're talking about wide receiver 1s. I picked up Calvin Ridley way late.
Do the Titans really have a wide receiver 1?
Yeah, Calvin Ridley. Look at his numbers.
I didn't know they still played offense.
1,100 yards, just like Garrett Wilson. You guys were hyping up in the 3rd round.
I don't hate that. I don't hate getting Calvin Ridley here. That's a really nice pick.
It's a steal there. So I think he's going to be fantastic. The last 2 years he's been absolutely going crazy down there and quietly. Nobody really is looking at him, and I think he's kind of fallen through the cracks like Mike Evans.
With bad quarterback play at that. So, yeah, you have a point there.
Now you get a gunslinger that's going in there. So that's where I'm most excited. I think he's going to take a huge step forward with a gunslinger of a young rookie quarterback. So I'm super happy to get Calvin Ridley late here. And then
that's a great pick.
With a guy that I think is going to be the number one receiver on his team in Roma Dunze.
I like this Odunze pick, man. Because Ben Johnson coming in, I mean, Odunze is now going to get the respect that he deserves. If you weren't able to buy Odunze low, you better do it before week 1. Like, if you're in dynasty leagues right now, you better go out and get Odunze before week 1, before he's a product of that Ben Johnson offense. Go do it now. I love this Odunze pick.
I was so hyped on the Odunze pick. I think he's going to be one of those guys that I've been saying it from day one in my own personal thoughts and like with a lot of my league mates that I think him coming in as a rookie with Caleb, they're going to have a much better friendship, a much better bond than him and DJ Moore. And I think they're going to start to show that this year where they kind of convert him into being the one there instead of DJ Moore. Pays DJ Moore out.
Yeah, I mean, I know they paid DJ Moore a bunch of money, but that was before Ben Johnson. So we're really going to see this. I mean, DJ Moore could be like a tradable kind of target here. So I mean, I don't know. I like the Odunze pick. I really do. So going to my next pick, I went ahead and got me a tight end, Tyler Warren, that I've mentioned that I really like, because I think a good tight end is going to help a bad quarterback. And in Indianapolis, that's what we have. We've got 2 bad quarterbacks, and you've got a great potential tight. I mean, okay, so I know that we say tight end 1 because it's the top 12, but really your tight end 1 is your top 6 guys in my eyes, because tight end is such a scarce position. But we could see that change in this landscape with so many tight ends. Tyler Warren, I think, can be a freaking tight end 1 easily with the amount of dump offs that Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones are going to throw. Because I don't believe it's going to be Anthony Richardson the whole season. I just don't. Sorry, man. Hate me later. But that's why I went ahead and took Tyler Warren.
I don't
objection to that.
I don't mind that at all. I don't like putting my bread in a basket of a rookie tight end for my number 1 tight end. Who was your second? Oh, you followed up with. Okay, so Justin got Kincaid way later down the board, so that's a good.
I felt like that was too hard to pass up, man. Like seeing Kincaid fall like that, I was like, man, because the Bills already don't have a lot of passing options. So I was like, all right, I got to take Kincaid here.
I don't really have confidence starting Tyler Warren probably the first 4 weeks. So you're probably going to be starting Kincaid first. And then when Warren comes along, you could start him. So I don't hate that.
This is going to be something to monitor for training camp, I think, to see where they're using Tyler Warren, how they're using him in formations. You know, is he going to be constantly with the ones? You know, I'm with you. It might take a few weeks, but look, I got an established guy in Kincaid until then. But
you're not starting Tyler Warren week 1 in a redraft league, in my opinion, for now.
And so I can start 2 tight ends in this. We have our flex is running back, wide receiver, and tight end. And in the past, I had a season where I started Kittle and Kelsey every week, and I won that league that year. That was when both of them just went nuclear. So, but yeah, that's my plan here, was to start those 2. But so you went next, and you actually went and got your first quarterback here.
Yeah. So in my eyes, my RB room and wide receiver rooms are completely solidified for even bye weeks. I have 3 wide receivers, 3 running backs, whereas most of you guys don't have that. And all those rooms are stacked. So I'm now looking at the board, and I take my first quarterback in Bo Nix, and believe me, I was all off of Bo Nix last year's rookie. I didn't think he was going to do anything special, but I think what we saw from him his rookie year in putting up that historic season for a rookie, like, it kind of changed my perception just with the rushing aspect. Like, I'm not taking a pocket passer this early here. And the next quarterback that went was Jared Goff. And Jared Goff is good, but he puts up those really high spike week games, and then he falls off. So I like the steady floor of Bo Nix to give me a steady 18 to 22 points along with my stacked roster right there.
And
So
another year in this Sean Payton offense. So I don't hate this pick at all. I'm
Yeah.
not the biggest Bo Nix fan, like
Me neither.
I'll admit that, but I don't hate the pick just because of the system.
Me neither. Like getting him, and then you could see that every other. I mean, my only concern was you could maybe wait because we saw that Kyler Murray and Brock Purdy went a little later, and I think those two might be on the same level and put up the same season as Bo Nix. So I could have maybe went some, but I'm looking at the board and I don't see any other like really good position players. Tyrone Tracy and Khalil Shakir go next. Like they're not winning you a league this year. Let's be real. So I take Bo Nix. And then I followed up with the stack. So then I come and stack him with Evan Ingram. So I get my tight end one, Sean Payton's Joker. So I take Bo Nix and Evan Ingram and I solidify that stack. And I kind of like the start to that.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't really understand this Shakir thing, but why the computer did Shakir earlier than Coleman, I don't understand that, but whatever. That's just how it goes right now. So yeah, so you took Ingram, and then a couple running backs come off the board. We got Caleb Johnson, who is kind of everybody's really excited about him being the next Najee Harris, and ironically, Najee goes right after him. So I went ahead and what's that?
Speaking of Najee, did you guys see that he had a firework accident?
Yeah, I hurt his eye today or during 4th of July. So he's wearing an eye patch.
Hey.
Well, hopefully he recovers well, and we'll see him in training camp.
I hope he doesn't recover well. I want Omarion Hampton to freaking.
Hey, hold on, bro. I got Najee Harris in a couple leagues, dude. Chill out.
I know you do. I know you do.
So I went ahead and took Travis Etienne here. Again, it's a PPR format. He's Trevor Lawrence's boy. He's not going anywhere. There's a lot of speculation in the draft about him, like potentially being traded and this and that, but they didn't take a running back outside of Bashal Tutin. They didn't take a running back early. Let me say that. They didn't take a running back early that would give you cause for concern if you're a Travis Etienne owner in keepers or a dynasty. So I went ahead and took Etienne here. It gives me another starting running back here who he is the RB1 on his team. So I wasn't worried about that. I know he's going to get the snaps. So that's why I went ahead and went Travis Etienne here. I feel like he's kind of safe. His job's pretty safe right now. So Slayton, we didn't really see anybody of note come off here. So tell us about your next pick.
My next pick was Jayden Reed. I think he's shown to be the number one wide receiver and the number one pass option in that offense. And to get him this late, I think was an absolute steal. There's a lot of wide receiver twos and a lot of, just some questionable spots there where I feel very comfortable where Jayden is. And I think that he eats a lot there with Green Bay. So I was ecstatic to get him that late and to have kind of a solidified wide receiver room there. And then I turned around and took Cam Scatterbo.
Your boy.
Yeah, Scat Pack. So with Cam, part of me feels like he's just going to be the goal line back all season, and he's just going to vulture a whole bunch of touchdowns. And I really hope that that's the case. But with him being in there, he's one of those guys that he's part of a 1A, 1B type of offense. And I think that he'll get some carries. And, if Tyrone Tracy, God forbid, goes down, then, I have somebody that I could throw in there extra, but he's kind of more of a flex play or a throw in. But I'm a firm believer any running back on a 52 gets the spot, and I think that he's got quite a bit more to show than what people have seen so far, and I think that he's going to really kind of get some trot out there a lot more than people expect.
Yeah, his coming out party when he played against Texas in the college football playoff, I think that opened up a lot of people's eyes on Cam Scatterbo. So I don't hate the pick here, man. I think it's a good third running back to have, but still I don't know so much about that running back, that New York backfield right now. That's going to be curious to see. This is another one of those training camp things that battles that we're going to monitor and we'll talk about on future episodes. So this is interesting. I like this.
Would you guys, quick question, dynasty question, would you take Cam Scatterbo or Alvin Kamara in dynasty?
In dynasty, I'm still taking Kamara.
Yeah.
Slayton?
I'd probably take Kamara because I want to see what Scatabo does, and I think that if he does boom a little bit, he's going to get a little bit of hype, but I don't think it's going to supersede. I think you would still have a chance to buy him at a lower rate than what you're going to tomorrow, right? Well, it would depend more on how my team's built. 'Cause, like right now, most of my teams are in a win now mode, so I would definitely take Alvin.
Okay, here's another hypothetical. You have James Cook, Kyron Williams, and Omarion Hampton. Would you take Cam Scatterbu or Alvin Kamara?
Say it again.
You have James Cook, you have Kyron Williams, you have Omarion Hampton, and possibly Travion Henderson. Would you take Cam Scatterbu or
how many have and how many running backs you starting?
You could start as many as 5.
Many as 5?
If this is a win now, I'm still taking Kamara.
I would still take Kamara because the amount of points that you could get to go win yourself a chip this year with the amount of running backs that you have, I think that you have a lot better chance winning a chip this year and being able to pay your dues for the next couple.
Yeah, Kamara is going to get you the points, and he's not going to have as much competition like the Scatabo Tyron Tracy is going to have. So I'm going to go Kamara no matter what, especially if you're in a win now situation.
All right, thank you, Justin. What do you got?
All right, so after this, I went ahead and took Josh Downs, bro. What's some people, Colts fans may not agree with this, but I went ahead and took Downs over Pittman because Downs just is so much more versatile than Pittman is. He can do more on the field. They can line him up in different positions, and they're going to need that with Anthony Richardson. And even when Daniel Jones takes over, because it's going to happen. Let's just be real here. Josh Downs can still line up outside and run those slants and take it to the house. Pittman doesn't really have that breakaway speed like Downs does. Pittman is your more true like X wide receiver, your outside guy, who can be a big slot at times. So, I mean, I'm not going to be shy about that. But I took Josh Downs just because he's going to get more receptions. Yes, Michael Pittman may get 5 catches for 110, but in PPR format, every catch is a point. Josh Downs could get 10 catches for 90 yards. You know what I mean? So, and a touchdown. So that's why I went Josh Downs here because of the format, because it's PPR. I'm not just going based on, who's the wide receiver 1 in that offense. Like, they've got so many mouths to feed in that offense. If you look at the Colts offense, outside the quarterback position, it's phenomenal. So I think Josh Downs is going to be the main target here. And I know it contradicts my Tyler Warren, but I don't think that that's going to be a bad thing because they both can catch the short passes, the short dump offs that Anthony Richardson's going to need. So that's why I went Josh Downs here.
So then I come back and I pretty much go the opposite way, and I take Michael Pittman. I think those two are interchangeable, and I really think it's going to be one game or the other. Pittman's going to do this. Downs is going to do that. I prefer Pittman over Downs because I know Pittman's going to be on the field more, whereas Downs is pure slot only. So it depends on if they're playing Tyler Warren out wide, if he's going to go into some of Downs' snaps. I like Downs, don't get me wrong, but I would rather gamble my money on the number 1 in that offense, the alpha, which is Pittman. I see a couple guys left on the board where if I may have done it a little differently, I already have my 3 wide receivers that I like. So Ibuka goes off the board a little later. So I might gamble next time and take Ibuka, which is a little more higher upside. I probably would go there if you're trying to win some more money because you know what Michael Pittman's going to do. He's going to put up 90 catches and 1,000 yards and be a wide receiver 2, whereas Ibuka can get an injury ahead of him and maybe put up a bigger year. But I still take Pittman because I like getting alphas on my team. You can see every single one of my wide receivers are the number 1 on their team. And then I come back and I couldn't resist the fall of Tucker Kraft. So I take Tucker Kraft for my tight end 2, who I don't think should be going this late. I mean, I think he's more comparable to the guys that went a little earlier. I think I might take Tucker Kraft over Mark Andrews, or that's pretty close. And Mark Andrews goes 2 rounds earlier. So I have Evan Ingram to start, Tucker Kraft. I play my matchups. which I necessarily don't like to do. I don't like playing matchups. You kind of like to just have one guy and roll with them, but I couldn't pass the value of Tucker Kraft, so I went with him there.
Love Tucker. Love Tucker.
Yeah, that was really good. Tucker Kraft's very underrated. He had a monster year, but people are forgetting about him for some reason. So I think they're gonna be kicking themselves in the butt. So I went around here and I went ahead and got my second tight end for the reason of I'm gonna start a tight end if they're good enough in my flex position. I don't care. I'll do it. Like, don't tempt me, bro. I went ahead and took Dalton Kincaid here because Dalton Kincaid, out of lack of major passing options on this team. I mean, Keon Coleman, Khalil Shakur, who went in the eighth for some weird reason. But James Cook, is pretty steady when it comes to those the short passes. But I went ahead and took Dalton Kincaid. All signs to me point that Kincaid is going to be highly favored in this offense. So Josh Allen just won MVP. They're going to want him to win another one. They're not going to want him to keep running the ball and also that. So he's going to be looking to push to his tight end. So I went ahead and took Dalton Kincaid here. I felt like that was a pretty money pick. There wasn't, after Dalton Kincaid here, massive fall off for me. Massive fall off. So it wasn't really a question in my eyes. Just go ahead and take him just because I wasn't in love with anybody ahead of him. So, but you went ahead and took another Titan here, Slayton. Tell us about that.
Yes, sir. I went and took Tajay Spears. I've heard a lot of rumblings from Titans camps that they're going to get him more involved this year. And it's going to be a bit more of a two split up backfield. And I like the sounds of that. Granted, I was kind of going after Mooney. I got a little bit sniped there. Yeah, I think he's going to have another sneaky season, but I wasn't too upset with the pick in Tajay Spears. And then, of course, the three next players that got taken off the board were who I was trying to pick. So I kind of got into a panic pick and did Raheem Shaheed. So with that one, I think he's kind of a boomer bust type of player. And if I have a bye week hell or something like that, I think he would be somebody that I could throw in there and pray that he gets a touchdown.
Hey, you got to take your guy, man. Don't leave it up to fate.
There's a big tier there if you see that. Like after the Spears, right there, it's like it goes Ferguson, Higgins, and then after that you look at every single name after that, and it's just that is a huge drop off. So what round is that? 11. So after the 11th round, you're just basically swinging all upside. So keep that in mind in your redraft leagues. The top 10 rounds, you're getting starters, but then it completely drops off.
Yeah, so we're definitely in that territory of people who could break out and be starters for you, guys that could develop into better players than what you're drafting them at. So I think that's a great thing to bring up there, Mick. So you went ahead and took Rashid Shaheed there. I went ahead and took Jaden Blue for the same exact reason that Mick just talked about, because Jaden Blue showed at Texas that he's got hands. I think Jaden Blue is going to be another product of this offense, passing the ball more. And Javonte Williams is not the guy that's going to be catching a lot of passes. He's not. So I went ahead and took Jaden Blue here because if he does become something, I could start him and then trade Travis Etienne for something else. I mean, this is one of those things. Or I just got a really good RB3 right here with Jaden Blue. If that does work out for me, if they say, hey, this kid's something special, this kid could be the next Tony Pollard, whatever like that. Okay, perfect. Boom. I've got an awesome RB3 now. But that's why I went Jaden Blue here.
Yeah, I like it. I like it at this point. So at this point in the draft, I'm swinging for all upside. I don't care if they're week one starters or anything because I already have my starting lineup completely filled out. So now I'm going completely upside, which are mainly running backs. So you could see that I went Dobbins, and that's kind of hypocritical because, I mean, RJ Harvey is going to be there, but I take Dobbins not to start him. I take Dobbins to maybe wish cast an RJ Harvey injury, and if he gets injured, then Dobbins is going into an RB1 right away. So that's why
he can do it. A
Yep.
healthy Dobbins can do it. Mick, you and me have been on the J.K. Dobbins train since Ohio State, bro. So we're not giving it up.
The dude never got a fair shake. He'd probably be one of the best running backs in the league if he never had those injuries.
Yeah.
He was so good in Ohio State. He was one of my favorite players, and he still is because of what he's done to battle back. So I'd take him there. But then if I were to do it over again, I'd probably take Dre Benson ahead of him. But Benson falls to me, so I go Dobbins. I go Dobbins and Benson back to back. If Connor goes down, then Benson goes into that RB1 role too.
Yeah.
So at this point, I'm just swinging all upside. I'm taking those guys like. You could see Rico Dottle going later. I don't think he's. And then Austin Eckler a little later and stuff. Those guys don't really have the upside, so I'm just
Benson has the biggest upside here. Like there's a couple leagues where I'm trying to work some deals out for Trey Benson right here. I think I got one already kind of handshake deal, but we're gonna see how it plays out. So moving on to my next pick, I went Adam Thielen. So Adam Thielen's one of those guys that you don't understand why, but he's just steady Eddie, man. Like no matter what team he's on, he's gonna get his points, he's gonna get his catches. It just seems like Bryce Young really likes Adam Thielen, and I'm okay with that. Adam Thielen, nobody expected anything out of him last year, first year with the Panthers. He comes out and puts up solid numbers. So I think Adam Thielen is a good upside guy here. Yes, he's an aging veteran, but it's redraft. We don't care about age. Age is just a number in redraft. So next year we'll have new people. So that's why I went with Adam Thielen here. Who did you go your next two picks there, Slade?
Next one was one of my favorite late round tight ends, and Zach Ertz. The man still gets all sorts of touchdowns for no reason. They just force feed this man touchdowns. And, I'm excited again for another season where he's going to be sneaky good. But, I really don't have to have a tight end two, to be honest with you, with me picking Trey McBride out of the rip. But I like the upside, and he tends to normally get quite a few touchdowns. So with having a tight end that I can get some pretty good serviceable weeks out of as a flex play or as a bye week or injury play, I'm pretty happy with that.
Well, like we talked about with the age and stuff like that, like in Dynasty, no one's touching Zach Ertz. But redraft, you at least got him. If you get half a season out of Zach Ertz, I don't think it's a bad pick.
I'd be fine with Zach Ertz as my tight end one in redraft if I completely passed on tight end and just stockpiled my other receivers.
Just punting tight end completely, 100%.
Yeah, it's him or Tucker Kraft for me. Whenever tight end out of the gate, that's normally who I fall on: Tucker Kraft, Jake Ferguson, or Zach Ertz.
Yeah. Well, before Zach Ertz, you went ahead and grabbed Jack Besh. You seem to like Jack Besh.
Yeah. I'm interested to see what happens with Jack Besh. Oh, I totally skipped around there. Good Lord. But yeah, Jack Besh, he's one of those guys that I think that offense is going to be a little bit more fruitful this year with Geno behind the helm and Pete Carroll being there and, kind of revamping that team and changing it. I think there's going to be a little bit more sparks there. Yeah. And somebody else in that offense that can move the ball, I think he's a lot like Jacoby Myers. So maybe he gets molded into something of that, or just have a bunch of people that are just doing small routes across the field. Like either way, I think he's going to get his, and I think he has a clear path to be a wide receiver too on that team. So I'm excited.
It's going to be interesting to watch it. He's another training camp spotlight player right there to see how they're using him. Is he running with the ones consistently? All that stuff. Like I'm definitely excited to see how Jack Besh is. He's got a fan base out there right now, so we'll see how that plays out in Vegas.
But after that, I went Zach Ertz. So my
apologies.
Good Lord.
No, it's fine. It's fine. So I went Devin Neal here. So I have Alvin Kamara up top. So just in case Kamara goes down, and I know some people out there, they're like, oh, don't draft your handcuffs. Like, this is the last few rounds. It doesn't matter. It's complete upside. Because I feel like Devin Neal in Kansas was one of the top running backs every year in college. This guy's been so slept on, and I will take the easy money here. I will take him at such a huge discount because if Kamara goes down and Devin Neal gets the nod, dude, Devin Neal to the moon, man. Like, he's going to be so good, especially with the Kellen Moore offense over there. Come on.
Devin Neal was a great running back in college the last 2 years. I don't know how he fell so late in the round. That's the only thing that makes me skeptical is the NFL passed on him that many times. I don't understand why, because I think we said in previous podcasts before the NFL draft came out, Devin Neal was highly considered like the RB6 of this class until he fell that late. So that's kind of crazy. Let's see. Lamar loves Mark Andrews for taking all the heat when Lamar fumbled the game away. Yes, he does, and that's why everyone is down on Mark Andrews this year because everyone remembers him dropping the ball there.
Yep.
I still like Mark Andrews this year. But I think that I likely is going to kind of carve a role in. I'm kind of avoiding Mark Andrews this year, to be honest. Even not just because of that one play, but because of the regression. So my next pick, I go again upside. I think the last good available wide receiver I see on the board is Cedric Tillman. He came along last year, and I know everyone loves Judy. I love Judy too, but when Tillman finally started getting the nod and playing the full assortment of snaps, he out-targeted Judy. So I take Tillman there just to see. He'll sit on my bench and see what I got in the first half of the season. And then I come around and then I'm looking, I need to get a QB2. I'm looking at the board. I don't really like anybody here, but I know that a QB run's coming and I'm kind of at the last of the round. So you kind of got to reach a little bit. So I take T-Law. I think T-Law is going to have a little bit of a resurgence this year because they added Hunter and now he's got Brian Thomas. So I think T-Law is good for a QB2 to have, or I can play with the matchups with Bo Nix.
Well, that Liam Cohen offense, everyone's pretty excited to see how that's going to work out too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So he definitely has the tools for success. Like I don't think you could ask for a better QB2 in the 14th round.
Yeah.
Like, come on, that was an awesome pick there. And that inspired me. So with the Drake London thing, I went ahead and like, you know what? Let me go ahead and stack this with Michael Penix, just in case Michael Penix does turn out to be what I hope he can be. What I saw with his time in Washington, Washington, the college, not Washington D.C. So that's why I went Penix here to kind of get that potential stack, just in case something does happen to Mahomes. I've got a young upside, like you talked about. So that's why I went Penix here. All right, Slayton, you went with you actually grabbed another running back here.
Yep, I sure did. So, kind of like with you guys on a lot of these picks, just having the opportunity and kind of upside, if you will. And I think that Jerome Ford's not just completely dust. That's kind of one of those things that I've been kind of on the train on for a while. I think he's still going to eat some carries there. And if any of those two ever go down during this first season or they phase themselves out, I think Jerome Ford still has a place to stay. And I think, with how things are with that team, I think they're going to be using a plethora of running backs. And why not throw a dart at somebody that's already proven to have the role there?
Well, okay. So I got to say here, with the people you have in front of still left on the board, I don't like this pick. I can't even pretend to like it a little bit because you've got a Braylon Allen in front of that. You've got a Dylan Sampson, which was the next running back afterwards. Jerome Ford, everybody liked him and stuff like that as Nick Chubb's backup. But this is Quinshon Judkins and Dylan Sampson, and if one goes down, the others get in the show. I don't really, huh?
Know about that. I think we'll see a little bit more in training camp, but I still think that Jerome Ford still carries the rock a lot more than people think.
Okay. And again, this is another player that we can put on our spotlight list for training camp. But I think Dylan Sampson or Braylon Allen would have been better options here. But you make a good point there for your reasoning why you took him. What about your next player here?
My next player here is Pop Douglas, man. One of the things that I always look for in
breaking news out of Cleveland. Ford is starter right now.
I don't believe it, but maybe.
Show me the clip.
So right now, my big strategy on a lot of these is to find slot receivers late, and Pop Douglas is that. So, I mean, Do I think he's going to be an absolutely phenomenal league winner? No, but do I think he's going to eat a lot of floor play and somebody that I could put in a flex position on a pinch? Yes. So that's a lot of my thought process there, is that he'll have a higher floor than most of the people around him. And I think while Diggs is still getting back to normal and Kyle Williams is figuring out what he is, I think that Pop Douglas is still going to get his fair share of slot targets. So
Yeah, the Patriots offense is going to be one to watch. So we've got Josh McDaniels back in the building as the offensive coordinator. You couldn't trust any of the players while he was a head coach. He's just not one of those guys that turned into a head coach. And that's fine. Not everybody's built to be a head coach. But Josh McDaniels is an amazing offensive coordinator. Nobody can argue that. Every time he's been offensive coordinator somewhere, it's been a dominant offense. So Pop Douglas can definitely be the benefactor of the Josh McDaniels offense. So I don't hate this, man. Like this is a good pick here because the rookie. I don't really know how Josh McDaniels values rookies. But even with Pop being not far removed from a rookie, I think he's going to get the nod before a Kyle Williams will.
yeah,
No, dude, I think you're spot on here with the upside here because these deeper rounds. A lot of redrafts are ending at the 15th round. So if you're getting this guy at the third pick in the 15th round, like dude, that's great. That's a great guy to stash. I went ahead and went with a guy that Mick actually turned me on to that is gotten a lot of hype in LA right now. Who who is the apple of the eye of the head coach there, Jarquez Hunter. So again, this is an upside play. It's an investment that I can hold on to. If Kyron Williams just doesn't seem like he's the Kyron Williams that he was, a year or two ago, then I think they're going to go real quick, Jarquez Hunter, because of how excited he was to draft him. So this was, to me, I saw this, I was like, yeah, this is a no-brainer for me. I went ahead and snagged up Jarquez Hunter. In the back of my mind, I was thinking, like, Mick might take this guy too. So that's why I went ahead and took him.
Oh yeah. So that was a good. I like that pick. I like Jarquez. I don't think Blake Corum is it. So again, I'm all about upside. I keep saying that. So I like Jarquez there. I actually like the Demario Douglas pick too. That dude shouldn't be falling that far. So that's a really nice pick for PPR upside. But then again,
Robinson in the kind of like the same light, if you and like I think it's kind of a flip of a coin between those two of like what they are,
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, Jarquez goes, and then I kind of take the same guy in the same ilk. I go back to back upside picks with DJ Giddens and Marshawn Lloyd. I can't believe that they're still here on the board. Jonathan Taylor hasn't finished the season completely. He's missed freaking 3 or 4 games every season. So I take Giddens, hoping if Taylor goes down, then I can slide Giddens in or trade him for a
Call me crazy, but I don't think Khalil Herbert's the RB2 on this team.
No,
I think it's DJ Giddens, man.
I've got Giddens for sure, and then Marshawn Lloyd is still on the board, so I take Lloyd, who Josh Jacobs has so many carries on him, so upside. I take those 2 RBs.
People have forgotten about Marshawn Lloyd, man. We loved him in rookie drafts, and then Josh Jacobs just comes out and has a great season. People have forgotten about him, so you might be able to throw some offers out there for Marshawn Lloyd on the cheap and see if the dynasty owner that has him is like, he didn't do anything. You can have him for a third or something, like, bro, take that because Josh Jacobs ain't gonna be there. Father Time is undefeated. Okay,
he's got a lot of carries too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I like that back to back Giddens Lloyd right there. Just super upside handcuff kind of thing. And we had a run of running backs here. But I went ahead and went Alec Pierce here. I know look, I didn't intend for this. I didn't mean to have 3 Colts on my team. I didn't. And I happen to be a Colts fan, so it looks like a bunch of homer picks, but it's not. Alec Pierce is a home run threat every time. I mean, we saw it time and time again last year, just deep bomb touchdown after deep bomb touchdown. So this, for me here, this was kind of a no-brainer. There was nobody else here that could give me that kind of upside that if I just see, okay, like once Daniel Jones takes over, I think Alec Pierce is the beneficiary for the deep balls that Daniel Jones is going to try and throw. So that's why I went Alec Pierce here. I kind of like the guy you took here, Slayton, especially this late.
Yeah, so my next one was Tua, and whenever he can complete a full season and not go out there and get injured, he is phenomenal. You know, he showed to be a top 10 quarterback year after year whenever he's healthy, and with the weapons that he has around him, all of them have big playability, all of them have speed.
Yep.
So you know, it's one of those picks that you don't really have to think. It's more of like kind of a no-brainer. Somebody that I feel comfortable late, in the season if I need to throw him in for a bye week or if I need to throw him in for this or, an injury or whatever. I don't feel disgusting doing it,
Yeah.
especially getting him here like, 2 rounds from the end of the draft. I mean, you're throwing nothing to get a quarterback that
it's free at this point. Yeah.
Yeah, keep this in mind that this is kind of like for bench purposes now, or not bench, but waiver wire. So these guys are all going to be sitting on your waiver wire in redraft leagues after your redraft concludes. So you can either look at the board before the first game and maybe you don't like your last pick and you see these guys and maybe Ollie Gordon sparks your eye, or something happens in training camp and you go ahead and pick Ollie Gordon up. So going forward, though, these guys are all going to be on the waiver wire. So these is all going to be matchup based on what's
these
going
last
on.
3 rounds here, you're exactly right. Because we went a longer draft. And it's good that we did, because these last 3 rounds, these are some guys to keep your eyes on waivers after the draft. So you're right, Mick. That's a good thing to tell the viewers out there to be aware of. What's your next guy here, Slayton?
So my next guy, so every year I try to get an older veteran at like a insane discount. So last year I got a lot of Kareem Hunt. Everybody was Hunt. He was a free agent, and I was there was no way in my mind that he was not going to sign somewhere, and that was kind of one of those picks that I was silently taking late, and that's what I was trying to do with Keenan Allen. I think that he will sign somewhere by the end of the offseason.
Yeah.
I don't foresee him being an absolute zero, especially against all the guys that are back here. So since I was sniped there, I kind of took another guy that it's a blurry backfield, and who knows who's going to be running back 1 coming out. So, heck, might as well take Miles Sanders here way late and hope that he wins out of camp. So that was kind of my thought process behind there. I kind of really wanted Keenan Allen, but at the end of the day, I'm not upset with Miles Sanders, who could potentially be a running back 1 on his team.
Well, and we've seen running backs get rejuvenated in other places. So if the Jaden Blue experiment doesn't work out, then Miles Sanders has got pass catching ability. We saw that in Philadelphia. So I don't hate this, man. I think you're spot on. You get an older guy at a massive discount. So I went ahead and to go with my DK Metcalf analysis earlier, Roman Wilson. So somebody else has got to catch the ball here, right? So if this is just a stash, of course, Roman Wilson's not going to be drafted in your redraft. It's somebody to look at on waivers, like Nick said. But Roman Wilson is somebody to keep your eye on, because if DK Metcalf and Aaron Rodgers just don't mesh, Roman Wilson is going to be the benefactor of that. So that's why I went here.
So I got a nice little fun fact for you on Roman Wilson. I follow these dudes that go to every Senior Bowl. I'm pretty good friends with them, and they go to the Senior Bowl every year. They've gone to the Senior Bowl for 10 plus years, and they come away with their top sleeper guys, or the best wide receivers that perform at the Senior Bowl every year. And they've literally hit on every single guy at the Senior Bowl because they go and visually watch these guys run routes. They track their routes. They grade their routes. And Roman Wilson, which was last year, he was the best performer in their projections at the Senior Bowl. He had injuries last year that completely derailed the season. And then Tomlin isn't going to start a rookie that misses all of training camp with a hamstring and other ailments that's not getting reps. But Roman Wilson is a legit wide receiver. He's someone that if you could get in Dynasty, I wouldn't mind, especially with Rodgers. Rodgers tends to like to target guys that can get open, and Roman Wilson is a savant at route running. He's a good wide receiver, so I do have my eye on him.
Oh, that name was so sour, man. I drafted him everywhere
I
last year.
know. And he burned a lot of people, and a lot of people are going to be off of him. So maybe you can get him cheap in Dynasty. He might be a good dart throw, but then again, this class is so stacked. I mean, it's either him or you're taking like you could probably trade that pick and get like DJ Giddens or someone. So that kind of makes it rough. Maybe you can trade like a 27 something for him if you still believe in him. But I like Roman Wilson. I think the talent's there, and I think he's probably going to be the number 2 in that offense. They're saying Van Jefferson, but come on, Van Jefferson is. I used to like. I know Justin likes Van Jefferson too, but he's not. He's not it. But
no.
again,
His time is over.
Kind of concluding the draft on my part, I'd take another high upside running back because they're just there in Taj Brooks. He's going to be the number 2. So if Chase Brown goes down, Taj Brooks is a legit runner in between the tackles on the most explosive offense. So I go Taj Brooks, and then I followed up with, it's kind of gross, but it's kind of not because he's been one of my favorite players. I take Deontay Johnson. You never know. He might go batshit crazy and pull an Antonio Brown, but he was there. You never know. I still think to this day he's probably a better wide receiver than Jerry Jeudy. So if he were to get his shit together, he's probably the best wide receiver on that damn team. So I mean,
Stupid athletic. Like Deontay Johnson's crazy athletic. Like this is crazy that like we've let him fall this far.
he's going to go undrafted in every single redraft league, I think, unless there's some sort of training camp news. But he didn't even partake in OTAs, so I think the grave is gone for him, which sucks because Matt Harmon's reception perception, he was the best route runner, like hands down, in 3 years in a row. His chart was all green. He was legit.
Yeah.
So
we saw what he could do in Pittsburgh. Maybe it's Mike Tomlin just driving these wide receivers up the wall, man, just driving them crazy, literally crazy. I don't know.
Kidding.
Maybe Mike Tomlin's the problem.
Let's keep it on George Pickens and see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. Right. The wide receiver, because let's not forget, Antonio Brown started off as a wide receiver 2 behind Mike Wallace. So maybe it's the wide receiver 2 curse in Pittsburgh. So to make our Titans fans over at Titan Stable for 2 happy, I went ahead and took Alec Manor from Tennessee. I figured, you know what, like somebody's got to give Tennessee some love outside of Slayton over here, right? So there's a couple. There's 2 guys that I think are going to be interesting to watch in training camp. And that's going to be Ao Manor and it's going to be Restrepo. So these are 2 guys to really, really keep your eye on come training camp time. But I went ahead and took Ao Manor just because he had the draft capital, right? I feel like he's going to get the first nod, the first chance, because Restrepo went undrafted. So I was like, oh, I'm just going to stay away from him. But that's why I went Ao Manor. Okay, all right. So Slayton, tell me about your final pick here.
Keandre Miller. I've been hearing some like real light rumblings about him being somewhat intriguing this offseason. He looks like he's looking good. He's back from injury. I've been seeing a lot of tape of him looking pretty good cutting in and out. So I'm excited to kind of see what happens there. You know, there's a little bit of smoke. I'm hoping there might be some fire, and there's been a lot of people saying his year to come out and show what he has. You know, last year it was kind of injury plagued, and he was having troubles getting onto the field. And they said that he came back and looked like a complete new running back. So I'm interested. You know, it's kind of a dart throw here. It's, you know, last 3 picks of the draft. And, hey, you know, you never know what happens out of minicamp. And I certainly think that he's better than anything that comes out of KU. So I'm excited to see what happens.
Shots fired to Kansas for no reason. Look, you're in a room right now with 2 guys who love some Kendre Miller. Okay, Mick and myself, we have been going back and forth with Kendre Miller and stuff like that. And I know another guy in one of our leagues has too. Like I'm a fan of Kendre Miller, so look, you're not gonna hear any arguments from me, but I feel like if they did like Kendre Miller, they wouldn't have looked so much into Devin Neal. I think Devin Neal is very good. Kendre Miller, dude, I love Kendre Miller coming out of TCU, dude. I mean, he was just magical. But Alvin Kamara's backfield. and there's no way around that. It's Alvin Kamara's backfield. Something's gonna have to happen to Kamara for this to change. But who knows? New coach, Kellen Moore. We never know. I'm not against it. Our final two picks here, we got Adonai Mitchell and Diami Brown. So just two guys. We saw what Diami Brown can do a couple of times. He's more of just a field stretcher. Adonai Mitchell, we're just waiting on him to figure out who the heck he is and what happened from college to the pros. But so that was our mock draft, our first one, the 1.0. So what do we think here? Who do we think has the better team out of all of these teams?
Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, we'd like to see what y'all think.
Especially between teams, 11, 3, and 6?
And 6, yeah. Give us some bragging rights. Which one of our teams do you think is best?
That's what I want to know. I want to know between teams 11, 3, and 6, who's got the best team?
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting. Let's review here. All right, so to close it out real quick, we'll just review here. All right, so Slayton, you had Jahmyr Gibbs, Trey McBride, Joe Burrow, Cortland Sutton, James Conner, Calvin Ridley, Roman Dunze, Jaden Reed, Cam Scatabo, Tajay Spears, Rashid Shaheed, Jack Bech, Zach Ertz, Jerome Ford, Pop Douglas, Tua, Miles Sanders, Kendre Miller. Mick, you started off with Derrick Henry, Devon Achane, Garrett Wilson, Rashee Rice, Chris Olave, Travion Henderson, Bo Nix, Evan Ingram, Michael Pittman Jr., Tucker Kraft, J.K. Dobbins, Trey Benson, Cedric Tillman, Trevor Lawrence, DJ Giddens, Marshawn Lloyd, Taj Brooks, and Deontay Johnson. And your boy Justin here got CeeDee Lamb, Drake London, Patrick Mahomes, Alvin Kamara, DK Metcalf, Jalen Waddle, Tyler Warren, Travis Etienne, Josh Downs, Dalton Kincaid, Jaden Blue, Adam Thielen, Devin Neal, Michael Penix Jr., Jarquez Hunter, Alec Pierce, Roman Wilson, and Alec A.O. Manor. So tell us what you think in the comments. Which team of these would you want to go into your season with? Team 3, Team 6, or Team 11? Let us know, and we will react to it on the next episode. But this is 1.0, mock draft 1.0, okay? So we'll be doing a bunch of these. We might just do one every couple weeks, and then before training camp concludes, once we kind of got a better idea, I think you'll see training camp's going to change these up a little bit, some of these ADPs. I know a lot of you guys are doing mock drafts out there, a lot of you girls as well. So let us know what you think, who you think got reached, who you think fell, all that stuff like that would be interesting to hear. We've got some interesting shows coming up. Once the season starts, we'll be very regular. We'll be doing your start-sit shows. We'll be doing your waiver wire pickup shows. We'll be doing your Q&A shows, answering your questions, your start-sits on Sunday morning. I know I like to get online live Sunday mornings and answer some of your questions, so maybe these guys will jump in too. We'll see about if they want to join me or not. But thank you, fellas, for joining us once again on another episode of Kingmaker Sports. To all the people out there, thank you for joining us, and we will see you on the next one. And do not, you've been here this long, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe. Show your boys here some love, and we will see you next time. Peace.